Hey guys, welcome back to the TNG Podcast. Glad to have you here with us this week as we break down our message from our speaker, Jeff Mathis. Bro, it's good to have you, man. It's been a long time coming.
Stoked to be here, Colin.
It's been 5 years, been out here in the UK. 5 years of trying to get you to roll through. And it took other bases to get you to Europe. We finally got you here, bro.
But we're here. I'm so pumped. First time in London. First time like doing stuff in Europe. So
yeah, man, that's a lot for you then. I mean, you got what you said, 7 bases that were with you the other a couple of days ago in Heidelberg, and now out here.
Tons of YWAM bases in Europe, 7 different bases, and then coming out here for a couple of days. It's been awesome.
Yeah, man. What have you found in your time in Europe? Like, what have you seen as maybe a common thing? Being around so many, have you found that kind of like that thread that's running through Europe, and maybe seen some things God's doing across the continent?
Yeah, I think I can only kind of speak to what I've maybe heard about Europe. And I think, so I maybe had some expectations, and I felt like my expectations were blown. I texted my wife multiple times over the course of this week of how hungry I'm seeing young people. And not only hungry for like personal revival, but hungry for national awakening. And so I feel like I'm leaving Europe with so much faith for what God wants to do in this region among the next generation.
Yeah, definitely among the next generation. It's unique. And I'd say even for I know you're showing up now, when we showed up 5 years ago to today, that's not that long of a time to see that radical shift that I think we're seeing in the youth. We were in Kona for a long time together. I didn't say that when we introed, but we spent 7 years together in Kona, been in each other's weddings, wives are best friends, hanging out all the times, kids the same ages, doing all that kind of stuff together. I think seeing that move of God that we've been praying for and talking about, but seeing the people trickle through. I think that's what for us, it was something about when we moved here to the UK, seeing the number of Brits that were coming out to Kona, staying in Kona, becoming leaders out there, running DTSs, all these other things, going, God's clearly doing something. And I think we're actually now seeing that on greater scales than maybe we even imagined before. But that has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about tonight. Break down the message a little bit.
It has everything to do with what we're talking about tonight.
That's true. It has everything to do with it. So if you guys haven't watched the message yet, please go do that before you continue on here, because it's going to bring a lot of context to what we're talking about. But we're going over some of our legacy words. We were chatting going hey, youth is your sweet spot. I mean, you run a huge camp in YWAM and now Fire and Fragrance. You've been doing a ton of stuff over the last several years, seeing DTSs and schools grow, seeing a community almost double, if not more in size over a year and a half. You're seeing these kinds of things, and then you're bringing a message like this tonight on truths versus heresy that you're going over through, as you go through Colossians 1. What kind of led you to this place? What led this message to be something that you brought to your community, even felt to bring tonight?
Yeah, I mean, what we do is a lot of, so we're right in the heart of downtown Nashville. So we're surrounded by 2 major universities, and then we've got maybe another, few that are within a stone's throw of that. And so all the work that we're doing on university campuses, you just begin to see what is confronting a whole generation. And even people that have grown up following Jesus, they've grown up in church, and we live in the Bible Belt of America. So, you've got a lot of church people, but you realize they've diluted Jesus to a good idea. They've diluted him to something they wear around their neck, to good teachings, good leadership model, good business model, whatever it may be for them. And the whole, I think, heart behind this message was man, we need big Jesus theology. He's the one that heals the sick. He's the one that raises the dead. He's the one that brings in, he makes dead things alive, broken things whole. Yeah. It's what he's done for me. It's what he's done for you. And I think I'm just not going to, I think of maybe what gets in my head is David before Goliath. Goliath is mocking God, and he goes, who is this uncircumcised Philistine?
Yeah.
Give me some stones, give me a sling, and I'm about to nuke this fool. And I think that's my heart when I think about this message is I want to give dignity to a whole generation that would just say I have a big God. And no matter what ideologies that are trying to invade our culture, my God has never lost a battle, and he will never lose a battle. Yeah. And that's the team that I'm on. That's kind of the idea, I think, for the message. And we were doing a series through Colossians 1, and you see these major claims that Paul is making here to a new church. They're a young church. They're, so they're being confronted with, syncretism, add this, they've got some Eastern religion influence, and they also have the influence of the Jews that are telling them they got to do all these things if they truly want to be a follower of God. And Paul comes in and he goes, Jesus is the image of the invisible God. He's the firstborn of all creation. He holds all things together. He's the reason that we've been saved, healed, delivered. And so kind of looking at these major truth claims that he makes, and then, trying to show us tonight, even where can we see this in culture and society where these things might come attacked?
Yeah.
But we got to remember, this is who our God is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that so often we can lean on this kind of like back to, you can go back even further back in the Old Testament and going like this, like kind of good versus evil thing. I think I heard it, in Kings and Chronicles, it's like a pre and post, or like, I guess mid and post, like exile from the land, and going like, you read Chronicles and there's this like, it's God did this and God did this either way. And then you get into like Chronicles and it's God did this and the enemy did this. And this idea that there is like a flip side to some of these things. And we're going like deep into going, it's not just like God is this and God is everything and God and God and God and God. It goes God and like bad ideas, like theology versus bad ideas. I was talking to someone the other day and I was just like, do you want to study theology or do you want to be a theologian? Because it's the study of God, the nature of God. And you can go and you can read all these guys and that's awesome. They're great helpers. But at the end of the day, do you actually know him? Do you know him in prayer? Do you know him in prophecy? Do you know him in preaching the gospel? Do you know him in your quiet times? Do you know him in corporate times? Do you know him in these places to when like something that's not him shows up and you can call it out?
Yeah.
And you can actually do something about it rather than just go, I don't know God, so I don't know if that's it or not.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the heart of tonight really was like, God's not going to share his throne.
Yeah.
He's not going to share his throne with your thoughts. He's not going to share his throne with your feelings, your emotions, other entitlements that you might have. Following Jesus is denying yourself, picking up your cross and following him. He truly is the way to the greatest freedom you've ever experienced. Your personal choice isn't the way to the greatest freedom. That's the lie that the enemy tells us.
Yeah.
That you can have Jesus and still go party, still go, add all of these things to what you think is going to give you peace, but true peace comes from laying down your life, following the man. And so I think that was the goal of tonight, is like, hey, where in our lives have we allowed things to share the throne with Jesus? He's a jealous God. And so sometimes that can be calling. Sometimes, it can be like spiritual things, good things, like your calling, like, your own, ministry, things that you're doing. Like, these are good things, but we've actually like made an idol out of those things. And so it's just an invitation back to Jesus is everything. He's always been everything. He is everything, and he will always be everything. And just to call back to wholehearted surrender, back to the lordship of Jesus, is where we find everything that we need. All things are sustained in that place of making Jesus Lord. He will not be shared.
Yeah.
He will not share his throne. It's time to get off your throne, put him back where he belongs, and that is the pathway to your greatest life. You want to live your best life now, make Jesus Lord.
Yeah. I think so. In a couple of weeks, we have Tom Osterhus, who's a phenomenal worldview teacher coming through. And I was talking to John Mark, one of our other friends who's here right now. He's going out to teach in a couple other DTSs across Europe. And one of the things that he's taking from it, I'm excited to hear Tom share again, is that he'd go through your week and add up your hours. He's like, okay, let's start on Sunday, hour and a half at church. Then maybe watch some TV that night, and you got work the next morning, and you got this, and these are the songs you're listening to on your drive to work. And he goes through your week and adds up all of the hours that you give towards everything. And you're like, hey, maybe it's an hour small group on a Tuesday night and an hour and a half of church. So 2.5 hours of your week versus everything else.
Right.
And how you're going like, how is God going to compete with everything else in there? That's all you're really giving him. Maybe he gets a half hour in the morning of some quiet time in prayer. Yeah. So what are some of the things maybe that you've done personally? Because this message, you got to sometimes you got to go through your own heart and kind of clear that stuff out and go, before I preach this, are any of these things
Yeah.
in my own theology, or any of these things I'm practicing myself? How'd you go through like your week, those things you're doing, the ways that maybe you're letting some of this slip in?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's so easy. Like there's a multi-billion-dollar industry that is buying for your attention.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think more and more, like we can't be passive around our formation into Christ. And I think we just have to understand, like TikTok, Instagram, X, Snapchat, whatever social media platform you find yourself on, those things, they spend billions of dollars to get you addicted. And so I've just had to, more and more, my wife and I, we got this little thing we put up on our fridge, and it like fully locks our phone. Okay. And we cannot unlock our phone. And I remember I started 30 out this year. I turned 30 this year. And I decided I was going to just take the first 30 days and just unplug from all social media. And you just don't realize like how loud culture is, how loud. I mean, everything is happening in the world right now. And the lie that we're sold because of social media is that we have to constantly just be aware of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
But it's like, what if you just got your report from heaven for a season, didn't allow the influence of entertainment, whether it's TV shows, whether it's the news, whether it's your favorite influencer, but like just getting your input from heaven and allowing the noise to be removed. Like it's just so good to unplug and to reset. And so I've found myself more and more in the last year doing like things like that. Whether it's getting off social media for a stint, whether it's trying to do, and I'm not good at this because I'm a city kid, have been. Like I got friends who are like, I go out in the country and I go stare at a tree for 12 hours all day. I tried to do a solitude retreat this year for 24 hours. I failed miserably. Like I got because I realized like I got silent and quiet and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't like this. I don't, because I've gotten so used to the noise. And so we have to almost get violent in waging war against the noise, getting silent, getting quiet, going away, though how uncomfortable it may be. This is an ancient practice of the church, is to get away, silence, solitude, practicing the Sabbath, having real prayer, having real like Bible engagement. I preach a lot. It can be very easy for me to replace my Bible reading with my preach planning and prep. And that grieves me. It grieves me so much. And so I think there's just small things that I'm trying to make small decisions, nothing crazy, nothing big, but just trying to get towards those ancient practices of the church that have been forming people for 2,000 years ago, that we just need to be extra diligent in applying to our lives daily, disciplining ourselves, because it's hard out here.
Yeah.
It's hard out here and it's loud. And so we've got to quiet our hearts to hear from God.
Yeah. I remember hearing someone say recently, it's just like, we're not made to know everything like we do now. Like I can know everything that's going on everywhere. I mean, you're going through a Paul's letter. Like how long did it take that information to reach Paul? Because he didn't plant that church. They heard the gospel from another guy, Paul's friend. It works its way to him. Paul sends a letter. It works its way back to them. Other things have happened since that, it works. It keeps going back and forth. And this like, I can know what's going on in every church in America.
Totally.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like I can hear it. I can hear
the bad
all
stuff
of
for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad people who think they're good.
Yeah.
Like that noise is at my doorstep, and it's all of the noise.
Yeah.
Versus like, you go back to this, like you get the monks.
Yeah.
And they're just going to hang out. They did these things to get away from the noise. The desert fathers.
Yeah.
Like I'm just going to go be alone with God.
Yeah.
And then people watch the supernatural on their lives and the mysticism that's happening around them. They go, I'm going to go join this guy because this is better than the noise of the city. This is better than the noise of work. This is better than the noise of whatever it is. And then these communities would develop and things would flourish out of these communities. But it started with that foundation of one or two guys just going, I want to be alone with the Father. I'm tired of the noise. I'm going to go out to the desert, hang out in a cave for a little bit. And then at some point they must realize like, I like the quiet, the flip side of what you're saying.
I think they like his voice. They like his presence.
Yeah.
And that's where you find it. It's when you can turn off everything happening around you. It doesn't mean we isolate ourselves from culture. We can still be in culture, but if you don't have those practices of getting away, culture will have you and you won't have culture.
Not advocating to the extreme. Like go to the
We're
caves.
all going to the desert tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know. For a couple of days, it might be
Maybe
a
it might
good
be a
call,
good
man.
idea.
It's
Shoot.
getting rainy and cold out here. So we might have to do that. But
Definitely.
bro, anything else on your heart? Anything from this message tonight that you're like, man, if there's like, obviously, yes, big Jesus, but one thing you could walk away with, don't forget to do this tomorrow.
Behold the Lamb. Like, I've meditated on John the Baptist beholding Jesus and some of his disciples being there eventually to become followers of Jesus. And I can't ignore that it was because of what they saw John behold.
Yeah.
Because they were his followers. They were John's disciples. So they were going where the rabbi was going. And there was something so specific about the way that John beheld Jesus that caused something in the heart of his disciples to say, that's the man I want to follow.
Yeah.
And I think we can get so quick to go after the missions movement that we see even in Isaiah 6, it's missionary's favorite passage. Isaiah 6:8, here am I, send me. But there's first, and I saw the Lord high and lifted up.
Yeah.
And you don't get in here am I, send me, an authentic one that doesn't first see the Lord high and lifted up. And so I think that if I could speak to a young missionary, a young college student, an entrepreneur, a mom, is that wake up tomorrow and behold the Lamb of God, and you will see the fruit of the ministry of Jesus in your life.
Yeah.
Whether it's sending missionaries to the foreign field, seeing your neighbor touched with the gospel, your kids radically following Jesus, it's going to start first with you beholding the Lamb.
Yeah. When we were sharing that, I immediately think of like when Jesus sends out the 12, the 72, and they go out, they see everyone healed. They see demons cast out. It's like all. It says every and all. These guys go out in that power, but they come back. It didn't say he sent out the 12 and 2 came back. Like they came back. They're like, Jesus, this is what happened. They came back to him, back to the presence, back to the teacher, back to his feet, going like, this is what happened when we went out. And then they stayed with him. Yeah. They didn't just go, I got the power. Let's stay here on the field. I can do that. Thank you, Jesus. I guess I'll stay here now. You know, they did that. You get it, but it's that returning back to the Lamb, to his feet, telling him the story, celebrating with him. So easy to celebrate, you know, what we're even talking about. I can go celebrate on Instagram. And you're like, oh, dude, I didn't see a healing today. That stinks. You know, like I sit there on Instagram going until I find someone else who's going to like wallow in self-pity with me who didn't see it, instead of we saw it, but I'm going back. I'm going back to the source, the man who sent me. Well, bro, that was super good.
It's awesome.
It was a great message tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming here.
Come on.
It's been a joy having you around.
Let's go. It's 9:30. It's bedtime.
Yeah. I'm out.
9:45. It's bedtime.
Thank you guys for joining us for another podcast. We'll see you next week.
Come on.
Be a fun time.
Boom!
Nailed it.
Fire.